Welcome to another City Skylines another video, sorry. And so right now, start off, I try and level out the the land next to the lake to try and put down a thing, whatever you call it. So the train tracks were getting in the way, so I had to demolish them. Then I had to build eventually I had to build a tunnel that goes underneath the road right there. And so then I built two, I move them across, make them look a bit nicer, make sure that all the electricity and water are proper. And so I noticed there's a traffic problem, and so then I try and do my best to fix it with the lane connectors because I couldn't find the stop sign or just the on off for the light switch, so I have to turn on heavy traffic ban just to like help it a bit. And so then I noticed that there's a huge ore deposit right on the side of the mountain, so I try and do my best to put a little industry, a tiny little bit, for the ore. And so then I go all the way to the farming and oil district to try and properly connect it and try and properly just like make the zoning, make the grid for it, all that stuff. So then I build a train track in the middle as a divider between the farming section and the oil section. And so then I try and do what Flablink was doing with the quays on the side of the train tracks to make it look kind of cool. But for some reason it didn't work for me, so I kept trying to track back and look for him. And just if anyone's wondering, Flablink and $2.20, they're two great City Skylines YouTubers that I watch for inspiration, for ideas. I don't copy off of them directly, except for this, because I actually wanted to try it out so bad, but it didn't work out for me, so then I eventually just gave up with it. So I try and adjust the roads and the trains, all of that, to try and make it look a bit better. And so then I start to build the grid for the oil industry, and so it'll come up in a second. And so I see the tree at the top of the train tracks for the time being, and then I just spam a bunch of trees and bushes on both ends of the train tracks. So then now I start building the grid for the oil industry. So as you can see, I connect it with a one-way road all the way down to the very end, and make the whole roads one way, leaving that middle road kind of useless. That road that sits right next to the train tracks in the middle between the two. But it'll be fine. I have to fix up the other industrial area, and I connect power lines all the way up to the oil industry, and I put in the water for the other oil industry. I turn off the landfill because it's just kind of a waste to leave it on, even though I don't have money, like I'm not paying attention to money, I have infinite money on. And so basically for me, I don't know why, but I always have like trouble with trying to do City Skylines with actual money. I've done it a long time ago, like a year or two ago. I was able to do it. I was making like 14K as like the plus per day or whatever. But then now, I don't know why I just can't do it, because I haven't been playing since then. So I have to try and get back into it. And so then, as you can see, the traffic problem still happens, so I try and make a boulevard, but I end up just making a one-way road at the very bottom. So then I start building the two train tracks, or two train stations for the industrial area over there. And so then the game starts asking me where's the residential? We need residential. So I build this little portion just right on the shoreline. So then it helps a bit. And so then I put down a crematorium or hospital, actually, just so then they don't complain, oh, we have dead people. I put in the water, I put in the electricity for the area. I don't think I need to put in the electricity for the area. And so then now I just try and connect the power up, and then I try to build the train tracks. But as you can see later on, I fail big time because I can't connect it to those middle tracks for some odd reason. And so even though I turned off snapping, as you can see in the bottom left, it still it still keeps trying to snap to different things. And so then I keep trying, but it doesn't work for me. So then I end up just having to build the train tracks going over the road, which I don't want to do because it looks ugly, in my opinion, because it goes over top. But I guess this is supposed to be industrial, so ugly isn't really something that I should worry about. So then I connect it up. Then I have the other tracks try and connect up to the tunnel. And this one actually connects to something, but it takes a bit of a while for me to connect it. So then just demolish all that, and then I connect it eventually. So then I bring all the train tracks down to the main train track thing on the side, and then I realized that the train tracks are causing like a flood from their tunnels, so I have to build the train tracks over the river instead of in the river. So then I have to reconnect it back up, and then I have to demolish the road, I have to demolish the tracks again and fix everything up so then it can go across. So then I remember I have to build a bridge, which is kind of annoying. Otherwise, it will just cause a huge flood behind it. So then I do my best to try and connect the trains at night so I can't see. But I do pretty good with this section over here. But then the oil things start popping up, so then I realize I have to build the cargo train track network. So I connect it up. I connect it up to the passenger train track section. Then I turn off intercity trains on the passenger train station because it gets annoying seeing all the red trains, especially because I don't have a train track. I don't have a train line set up, and so there's bridges keep popping up whenever I build these like residential areas. So I try and do my best to get rid of them, but they keep coming back. So as you can see, it's like it is hard for me to try and do it right, but I just give up, do the best that I could with it, and then I connect the water up, so then more people would be coming in. And I built a little crematorium on the side. I don't know why, but I did. And then that's the first person mod. It allows me to like see what the car is saying, like when they're driving. And so that's how I got the thumbnail for this video. And I think actually no, that's where I got the thumbnail for the next episode, which will come out in another 2 or 3 days. So boom, I built a huge plateau. I built a huge plateau because I gotta put in some commercial, so might as well just fill in the empty space. And then you might see the live play in the next episode. I get confused about which side is which side I'm looking at for the main city, and then which side are the industrial area and which side is the boat. I started zoning more industry, and then I started noticing the huge traffic logs. You'll see eventually. You can see that I noticed the traffic. And so then eventually I build one-ways. Yep, right here. I build one-way streets going all the way down. Because the traffic was actually getting like backed up, even though you can't see it in the video. It was noticeable at like 3 times speed in game. So then I take the opportunity to try and build the farming section, the maple square. And so then I build a bit of gridding area, and I tried for there not to be a grid area, but then I was like, it's fine because this is an industrial area, so might as well. And so these bridges kept bugging me, but it's part of choosing a hilly map, which I chose myself. I didn't just go into the workshop and pick a random one. I looked through all of them. And so then I zone in the industrial portion on the top. Then I put residential at the very bottom. I put in some utilities like landfills and police. And I noticed because it's a one-way, it's kind of weird for the oiling section, but the farming I left it two-way on purpose. It's because it's a bigger area, so should be able to go like both ways for the roads. And so, as you saw quickly, I built a spiral for the water pipes. And so when you do that, it's important that you connect the tip of the spiral to the very outside, because otherwise in this game, then the water won't reach the tip, and then they won't be getting into water, and then you're gonna basically say, I have water pipes, should be getting water. So I see that there's no train going into that station, so I was like, I have 2 train stations, might as well just build up a train line. And so I try and connect it down to that train station, but it doesn't work. And I realize I have to build a little underpass, and then I try and do it again, but it doesn't work. And so then it takes me quite a while to figure out the problem. Eventually I noticed that when I was initially building the station, the 2 bridges over, it didn't count as a train track, it just counted as like a dirt path. So then I give up for that for a while, and then I build another train station just to make sure that like the game's working and I can actually make like a line and a stop and all that stuff. So then boom, here I notice I gotta rebuild it. So I rebuild it, and then I can connect it to the other train station. And so boom, I have a 3-station line, green, with 4 trains going on it. So I rebuild that section just in case, and then I try and move the bus depot so I can put in my intersection that I made, which is basically a roundabout. And so I notice I can build it on that little plateau on the side of our building of our city. So I have to flatten out the area. This, despite the fact that it's already a plateau, I have to flatten it out a bit more. And then boom, able to place it. So this was a bit tricky, having to build the highway section from the side going towards the section. And so I tried to build around it, and so I was gonna build a bridge. I did build a bridge, and I don't know if I had to demolish the other road, but I did, because I could just place it back where it was, and then boom, that's the section. So I had to demolish the road because it kept building the underground portion because of the hill. So then I end up connecting it up, then building this one large boulevard. Once it loads a bit, yeah, there. I build 2 little things. I was going to have one side be the fancy residential with the sand barriers, but I end up just not building it. And so then I build kind of a spiral for the residential. So then I connect the roads. And so then I start building the train tracks. So I have to connect power. And I have to make my own water treatment center and water pumping stations. And so then I connect the train tracks out to the other sections. So then right here I have a bit of a problem with connecting the roads, or connecting the train tracks to the other train tracks, but other than that it's perfectly fine. So if you can hear my mouse clicking, I'm just trying to fix what I saw in the video. I didn't connect the roads for the plateau. But then here I notice I have to build a bunch more power for the thing. I don't have to build a bunch, but I do. I connect up the train tracks, and then I connect the line to it. I put down the harbor, and so then now I put down a tourist attraction. Hopefully get more people through the bus, through the boat ferry from other cities. And so then I put down some public utility, public services for that top plateau. I zone more section of Maple Square to be residential. I just watched this train in the first person mod, and then that's basically the end of this episode. I'm sorry that there's no live play. I just did an hour worth of time-lapse material.